Hi, guys. This is TOEFL IBT Online. I'm your TOEFL robot. Thank you for your continuous support. Today let's take a few minutes to discuss the 10 tips and strategy on the listening section of the TOEFL IBT. The listening section is designed to test your ability to understand both academic lectures. In the listening section of the TOEFL, you will not be allowed to skip questions and then go back to them later. This section requires you to spend an extended period of time listening carefully, meaning your full attention should be focused on the lecture or conversation, and not on trying to take notes. Native speakers rarely speak very precisely and clearly with one another in the types of conversations you hear on language learning tapes. While the listening lectures are challenging, they almost always follow a standard structure similar to the passages in the reading section. While listening to the lecture, there are several things that you want to take note of in order to efficiently answer all the questions. Let's review each of these 10 tips now. Tip 1: Pay attention to the professor's tone and her attitude towards her subject. Oftentimes questions will ask you about the professor's attitude or opinion towards her subject. Is she trying to be funny? Is she very serious? Tip 2: Listen carefully for the main idea in the first paragraph of the lecture. The professor will almost always start the lecture by announcing what he is going to talk about. The first question following the listening lecture is nearly always about the main idea of the lecture. Tip 3: Pay careful attention whenever the professor uses a metaphor to explain a concept. Tip 4: Pay close attention whenever the professor gives examples. Tip 5: Listen carefully for reasons and explanations. Train your ear to be very sensitive to words like because, therefore, the reason for this is, this caused, and the effect of this was. Tip 6: Think about implied meaning, not literal meaning. Before you even look at the answer choices, think carefully about what the professor is implying. Pay close attention to the context of the professor's statement and the overall lecture as well. Tip 7: Pay attention to both speakers' tone of voice and to the way they respond to one another. You should pay attention to the speaker's tone and the context of the expression, but you also need to do a lot of listening practice to get comfortable with expressions like these. Tip 8: Listen carefully for the student's problem or issue. TOEFL conversations are only 20-25 sentences. Within the first 5 sentences, the student should have identified the reason for the conversation. Tip 9: Listen carefully for possible solutions. Tip 10: Think about the speaker's purpose in order to decide what he or she means. Getting better at this is a matter of practice. As you listen to practice listening exercises, always try to identify the purpose of the conversation as quickly as possible. This becomes much easier once you have done it a few times. Thank you for watching. I'm your TOEFL robot. See you in next lecture.